Hello, this is Grandma Jan from Red Toad Art Studio, and today we are going to continue our series of 50 ways to draw your beautiful ordinary life. Now we've done a teacup and a teapot, and today we are going to learn to draw a piece of furniture. We are going to learn to draw what they call a sideboard. Now, I think these used to be used in dining rooms to put extra food and things like that on. Now, I think we use them for just about everything today, and I'm not sure we always call them a sideboard. But isn't this cute? And it has step-by-step instructions in here of how to draw that sideboard. Now, I'm going to draw this, but I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to basically follow the instructions, but I have an antique piece of furniture that my husband got me years ago, and I just love it. That is almost like this. It's a little taller, and it has a mirror up here. I'm not sure what it was called. It is antique of some sort. Maybe we can call it an antique sideboard. So I'm going to draw this in the style of my sideboard. And if you have a sideboard, you can change this, modify it until it looks like yours. So let's get started. Let's go back here to the first instructions. The first thing we need to do is kind of draw a rectangle. Now, the rectangle they have you draw, it goes in at the sides. This bottom is narrower than the top line. Now, my sideboard is equal, so I'm going to draw my lines straight. So the first thing I need to do is just draw a rectangle. So let's go do that. I'm going to use my brown sketchbook. I think this design is so pretty. Now, since this doesn't fit well under my camera, I'm going to fold it over. And I think that about fits, don't you? Now, I think there's kind of an unspoken idea that we shouldn't use rulers when we sketch. But what is wrong with using a ruler? It helps us get lines straight, even, and measure things the way they should be. So, ruler, pencil, and I have a regular eraser here. And eventually, we'll use a Sharpie pen. Now, our next video will be doing a collage with a sideboard in it. And since I haven't got a picture the right size of the kind of sideboard I want one that looks like mine, we're going to use a drawing. So, I want this sideboard to be 6 inches long. Now, some of this will eyeball. We want to get it on there straight, and maybe I should come over here a ways. Okay, my first line of my rectangle. And before I leave here, I want to put a little dot where 3 inches is. The middle of the sideboard is very important to our drawing. Now, don't draw real dark. I'm going to draw darker than I should because I want it to show up on the video. But if I'm just drawing for me, I will draw very light. So, how wide should it be? Let's see. How about, you think about 2 1/4 inches? So 2 1/4, let's remember that. I'm just eyeballing to get it straight with the side of my picture here. Down. We want them 6 inches apart, unless you're doing the one in the book, and then the lines slant a little bit. 2 1/4. And then across here. And mark the halfway, which would be 3 for me. There is my rectangle. Now, they have a little piece of, well, a top that comes off and that overhangs the side a little bit. And let's go ahead and put this in. So it will be a little wider than the 6 inches. And if you have a ruler like this, be careful. This is what, I think centimeters? This is inches. And if you forget and switch it up when you're measuring, they won't come out straight. There we go. Now, step 2. Step 2 is adding legs. Now, my legs on my sideboard are different. They're kind of curly, and they come out a little bit at the side. Now, they're fairly tall. I'll switch that around to inches. Coming down here. Does that look about even? And I need to, mine comes out in a curve with a round bottom like that. Now, to me, the hard part is getting this to match that leg. But, you know, that will do. See, next, well, they just put the legs on that will be behind, and I'm not going to do that quite yet. First, we need to do something else different. I want to set something on my sideboard. So I need to make a little bit of top area. And I'm just guessing at this, but let's come up and do another line. Oh, about like that. Let's do it. The ends, draw lightly on the ends. Okay, you see that line? What we want to do now is go from this corner and draw inwards. I don't know if you remember the rule of art. I didn't think I did that quite enough. The rule of art is things get farther away, they get smaller. So the back of our sideboard will look smaller as it goes away from us. And the more top we want to show, the farther it will get away. Okay? Now, to do the second set of legs, come down. Can you set from here? And the second set will be about here. And not very much of those legs will be showing. All right, got the legs. I'm going to turn the page on this now, see what it says next. They are putting drawers and doors on. Now mine is a little different. I do have 2 doors, but I have 1 drawer and have 1 long drawer up here. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my long drawer that goes up here. Now it will go a little ways down and be about to here, I think. I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch, and my drawer needs to be, I think, about there. I'm just guessing on this. You can do it any size you want to do on yours. But there's my top drawer. I should get over here. I get to concentrating on my drawing and things move, sometimes clear out of camera angle. Now we have 2 doors on this, one here and one here, and a drawer here. And we have the halfway mark here, and I'm just going to draw that lightly in. Right there. So this drawer, how big do I want it? I think it should be about like that. That's 1 1/4 and 1 1/4. It would be 2.5 inches. So right here to here. And then we get it in the center. And it will go almost to the bottom. Nice deep drawer. All right, now we have to do 2 doors here. Now these were, it would have helped if I had measured. Let's measure. Let's make these 1.5 inches deep. And I can do some erasing. Always be willing to change if you need to. And we will erase these other lines at a later point. We'll just lightly erase them now, and we'll get them erased better later, because we are also going to learn to ink our picture. All right, there's our drawer. Now our doors should also start 1/4 of an inch in, which is right there, and go across here and come up 1/4 of an inch. See, that's the bottom of our doors. And we want to go up the same as what we did here. Oops. We'll have a little break of 1/4 of an inch there. Now you could just freehand this and not measure anything if you feel comfortable with that. There! Hey, we're getting the basics of our sideboard done. All right, the next thing it has is putting hinges and drawer pulls on. So, let's start right here. They would be, let's set that at 1 inch. Put 2 pulls here. you can make any kind of drawer pull you want. Okay, there's a drawer pull, and we need 2 here. Let's set this at the 3 and come out. I'm getting those a little crooked. I'm going to bring them up a little bit. There we go. Now, on the doors, we need pull knobs. I think about here. And hinges. Now, you could stop here if you want to. This is a nice sideboard, but mine is really neat. It has a back here, and it has a mirror on it. So I want to add that. I'm going to draw up. This is no longer just 6 inches. It is 5 1/4. So I need to go up. That was drawn very lightly. All right, and the halfway mark of the whole piece of furniture would be here. All right, this comes down now and curves down and attaches to the back. I don't think I got it entirely even, but you know, we don't have to be perfect. Now it has kind of a circular thing in the middle, and I am going to use a spool to do that. I'm going to line the spool up not perfect, but that's okay. And now to put the mirror in, I need to do like this. Now, basically, we are done with our sideboard. If we want to sit things on it, we can draw flowers or books or anything we want. But let's ink it first. We haven't inked anything, and I'd like to show you a little bit about inking, because then we can erase our page better too. I use Sharpie pens. This is a ultra fine point. And basically, we go over all the lines we want to keep with our Sharpie. Now, for long straight lines, I find it easier to start at the top and pull down. So let's take this line. Be careful. And I like to do all the lines that go that direction. I'll probably speed this up on the video because you need to go fairly slow to keep your lines right. All right, then we turn it around and do all lines going this way. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy, you could put some curly cues up there. Let's do the legs. And the drawer pulls. Looks like a smile. And the knobs. I'm not sure that's exactly straight across. Maybe I'm going to put it up a little higher. Big smile. Hinges. Wasn't it easy to draw that piece of furniture? Now, before we're done, let's go in and erase our stray lines. Now, the paper I'm using doesn't erase well. So you might want to be sure you draw this on some kind of paper that takes erasing a little better than mine does. But you just go over the whole picture because that ink won't erase, and get rid of all your stray pencil lines. And there is our sideboard all finished. Now you can do this in any kind of picture you want. Put it in a picture of a room you're drawing. Put plants or books on it or food, whatever you want to do. You could, if you've used the right paper, you could watercolor it. Or you can also use markers, colored pencils, anything you want to color it. Now I'm going to use this as a pattern for making my sideboard to use for collaging. So you might want to check out what we're going to make a sideboard in collaging look like. Now, I really encourage you to try drawing fairly simple things like this. It's kind of, it makes you feel good when you make it look like something you have in your house. This is how my sideboard looks. I hope this has encouraged you to make some of these simple things that you have right in your house to look at and draw, like a piece of furniture, a couch, shelves, you know, just anything. The sideboards or sideboard-like pieces you have, and have fun with that. So I hope you have a very, very, very creative day and have fun. I will see you in our next video where we're collaging with a sideboard. So I will say bye-bye for now.